Hi people, Marino Wevenberg here again as always and as usual. Yeah, as you can tell from the header, I'm briefly going to explain how a reading works or how readings work. Any kind of reading, any kind of divination that you're going to perform, so any kind of divinatory reading. The main ones that I emphasize or lay emphasis on my channel, the most advanced ones and the most practical ones are astrological readings as well as tarot card readings. Now let me explain how it works essentially. With any kind of divinatory reading, doesn't matter what you use, how elaborate it is or how simplistic it is. So in this case, for example, astrology or tarot card readings. Okay, with tarot card readings, the latter it's simplistic, like really down to earth in a black and white format for any kind of information giving. And with astrology, it's ultra detailed to the point where even non-relevant details that were not the focus of your intent are still emphasized. That's the beauty of it and both the drawback for both of them. Now, so the one is overly complex and the other one is underly complex. In any case, how readings work by default, divinatory readings, is that they essentially attune themselves to someone or something's energy. That's what a reading is. A reading is essentially energy that is modified and shaped in such a way, it's formatted in such a way as to give away the answer that you're looking for. Now, I'm not going to go into detail in relation to how credible the answer is, because that's not the point of what I'm discussing. That's a different chapter altogether, which I've already covered on my website. But on MorinoRavenberg.com, obviously. But by default, okay, in terms of how a reading works, as in, hey, I cast a tarot card reading, about someone, as in, hey, I'm a guy, how does this girl feel about me? You're wondering, someone might wonder, how does it work in detail? I mean, what's the mechanics or what's the mechanism behind it all? I mean, how does it work? How does it come about giving you the correct answer in terms of, how does it legitimately bona fide show you how someone feels about you or the information that you specifically inquired about or asked about? And it simply works, like I said, it's simply energy essentially that has been shaped or modified in such a formatted way as to give it away to you in a practical, straightforward manner in alignment with your intent. So if I cast a tarot card reading, for example, by the way, I'm simply using tarot cards as an example to indicate, but this is how all divinatory readings work by default, regardless of what method you use. I essentially do my reading. When I do the reading, essentially it's energy. The reading is using my energy, and it's essentially homing the energy in on whatever I'm inquiring about, whether it be an individual, a group of individuals, an entity, or something else, okay, in the universe, in the known world, obviously, something else that you're inquiring about, and then it automatically redirects it back to you, and it does so within the scope of the reading, so that you can make sense of it. Now, whether you can make sense of it is a different situation altogether. That depends on how good you are at your divinatory readings in terms of proficiency and raw talent that has been owned. But that's how it works. It's essentially like you can compare it to the ping, honestly. I don't know if people know how ping works, but when you have an internet connection, the ping essentially determines how fast your internet is, essentially, because the ping is essentially when your device, when your network that you're working on behind the device, whether it be a computer or a mobile phone, it establishes a connection to the closest access point by your ISP, your internet service provider. So if your internet service provider has its nearest access point to where you live or where you are at that moment, is like a lot further away, then the ping is going to be high. And when your ping is high, then the internet is going to be slow. It doesn't matter how fast your download or upload speed is. It doesn't matter how fast the bandwidth is. The ping by default is going to be highest because it takes it longer. Your connection takes longer to make a connection or to just plainly connect with the nearest access point of your ISP, so your provider. That's what I'm talking about. And it's the same thing. When you carry out a reading, the reading essentially takes energy from you and it converts that energy within the guidelines of the reading, and it your own energy essentially is sent out to your inquiry, whatever it is or whomever it is that you're inquiring about, and it automatically pings that back to you. And it essentially, the answer is the reading that you have in front of you. And then you need to be able to make sense of it. Like I said, that's a different situation altogether. You simply need to know how to read it and all of that. And then you've got your information and the story. Even if you don't know how to read it, that doesn't change the validity of the information, the merit that the information gives away. So that's it. Bye.